for launch. Liftoff to the year 30,000.
30,000. I don't know.
Cadet Stimpy, Commander Hoek and Cadet Stimpy. That was this great. You guys ever watch the Ren and Stimpy show? It might be too old.
Yeah. A long time ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. That was the space madness episode was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm foreign and I'm a cat, so I didn't see it. But
do you even know who Ren and Stimpy are, Kat?
I know of them. I don't know in detail.
Are there these great John Crick-Falusi animations? And then he went on to create Dexter's Laboratory and the Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
No, wait. I'm getting that. No, I'm getting mixed up. That's Gennady Tartovsky does the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, you can't educate foreigners like this. That's
that's
getting all screwed up.
Let me check my X feed. Make sure.
Yeah, so we're on my X right now, and we're on the Triumvirate YouTube channel. And I think, did you broadcast to your X as well, or no?
Yeah, I'm broadcasting my X as well. So
I just reposted your post. So we got a mere 49 views. Maybe we should bring the real blind broker back and get like 20,000 views. Like that was insane.
All right, so it's a special Tesla show. We're doing the Tesla pre-earnings. Sorry, Kat, I got to move this over a little bit.
Yeah, and it's much better now. Thanks, Tracker.
Not you, Cat. My other cat. I had this plan of something I wanted to do, and but what's? I'm not on the screen, am I?
Not yet, but I think you're planning on tracking Tesla.
I'm playing a special project here in the background. So, why don't you guys do your magic thing on Tesla, and then I'll show you my magic thing.
Ooh. You want to see our magic thing? Okay. Let's whip it out. Let's whip it out. So tomorrow after the bell is the big day. So it's not going to affect tomorrow's trading day. So that's just another day, another dollar lost maybe for Tesla. Who knows? Well, let's look at this chart, and the fibs, I think, are telling the story that this whole 3 weeks in a row now, price has kind of been stuck underneath this 382 level. So it's turning into a resistance again. And with the, what is that? The Ichimoku right here, we can see that it's also still getting kind of challenged by the top of the cloud as a resistance too. It did wick above this week, but it still is not going above. And that baseline sits around 219.21 now. So that's kind of getting in the way as resistance. So basically multiple layers of resistance is there, but the week's not over, and this is pretty aggressively upward sloping. So it could just be maybe a launch pad, right? Right, Kat? Right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure, because when I go to the daily chart here, what I can see is that it is possible, right? So tomorrow would be right here, and then the top of that cloud would be at 219. So that might be kind of like the range tomorrow, like 219 down to something. But the earnings are not going to take that daily candle into account. But then Wednesday, that daily candle, look at that. The cloud goes all the way up here to like 225, right? So basically that's giving the more space to run through a Fibonacci level up there. So it does lead more room to the upside on Wednesday morning, or I mean Thursday morning, to go higher. Or even lower, right? So it could go either way, but it's looking like the possibility to just stay in this range is likely, because we can add on the moving averages here. You can see that it is breaking below the 100-day moving average, but when you go back to the weekly chart, you can see that there's a lot of confluence down here with the 100 and the 50-week moving average, and then with the monthly chart, we have the bottom of the cloud, which is 213, which is before that. Then even the monthly indicators, you still have the 207 and the 204.90 down there to catch it. So month over month, this chart looks beautiful. This is what you want to see with its chart that is bottomed already. See, from a low, higher high, higher low, And I think this will be a higher high in the future, just not sure how many months in the future that will take. But this setup being on top of all the support right here is looking better and better. So whether it goes up tomorrow or Thursday or not, if it goes down or up, it doesn't really matter as long as this support holds in the low 200s.
That's right. It's an endurance race. It's not a sprint. You know, just because it doesn't go where you want it to go tomorrow after earnings doesn't mean it's time to just give up and just sell out and never look back at Tesla again. It just means, you know, hang on, hang in there. It's going to go up eventually, like maybe after, if not earnings, then perhaps after the election. Not after the election, perhaps, you know, a Santa rally at the end of the year. But don't worry, it's Tesla is in a bull trend. It's clearly in a bullish trend, and it's when you get these triangles, this pattern that has been for like the last 3 years. It's just this consolidation pattern is just building up pressure for the price to move higher when it exits the end of it here. Hey, here, Matt, here's a cool trick I was thinking about the other day. Like, put it like on a weekly chart, and then you've got your lagging span on the Ichimoku. Have you ever like just taken out like you know, you can make an information line and it tells you like what the periods are from left to right, and you can make like take an information line and pull it out 29 periods, and then you can kind of look at it, and then you can like drag it around the screen, and you can look at where the bars were in the past, like 29 periods back, and start running up. Oh, maybe this week is the week. Maybe that week is the week. You can look back 29 bars and see when
you can count. You mean 26? I think. Yeah, you can
Oh
count.
yeah, I'm sorry, 26 bars.
You mean count to the right to get to this candle here? Is that
Yeah,
what you
or
mean?
like yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
So yeah, so you want the lagging span, this black line right here, to basically stay above candles. So if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 or 10 weeks, then maybe that will force the lagging span to go up over the candles, stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So maybe in 8 or 9 or 10 weeks, it could probably, you'll see a good, nice move. Yeah, is what that's indicating. Otherwise, this lagging span will be basically underneath all of this, which is not what you want to see. So we want to see it stay on top of. So therefore, price would have to rise because lagging span always equals current price, just 26 bars back.
Yeah. And even if, at worst case, if nothing happens in 10 weeks, then you just go, you know, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 weeks later, and you're back at that low green candle, and suddenly the price is back under the lagging span again, and maybe that's where it catches the gears catch, and you know it gets the thing going and starts moving price up. Anyway, just be patient with Tesla. I'm looking for something amazing to happen tomorrow night, and if it doesn't happen, that's fine. I'll be a little disappointed, but I won't be morose and want to end my career with Tesla. Let's say.
I'm really liking this weekly, the upward sloping, the aggressiveness of this upward sloping baseline, though. We haven't seen that in really a long time. Like we saw a little bit here, but it wasn't as large, right? This one is pretty large compared to this one. So it could be just price can stay there and then launch it up with it. You know, it could do something like that. So it'll be interesting to watch. And maybe
the baseline, I'm sorry. No, the baseline Ichimoku is calculated by, it's like an average of the lowest low and the highest high between over the last 26 lagging spans.
Yeah,
right?
So it would include probably this one here and wherever the 26, maybe this one down here.
Yeah.
Or that one. Yeah. Just divided by 2. Yeah.
That guy who invented this thing was pretty smart.
One look, right, Kat? One look.
Ichimoku.
I don't know. Yeah, it's supposed to be you're looking at it just one, so you know exactly what you're supposed to look at. Yeah.
Kim Appreciates Life says, if I didn't own so much already, I'd be more relaxed.
Yeah, I think it's going to be okay. I mean, the greater trend seems to be all right. So, yeah, Matt's already showed a lot in my chart. So, Tracker, you want to take it away? Or?
Sure. All right, so bringing up my chart.
I know you got a 2-week Ichimoku in your deck.
Actually, yeah, it's not that interesting. Just got rejected off of it completely.
Okay.
So
Well, I kind of want to see that.
we'll see how this week closes. But yeah, I got other things to show. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, rejected midweek. Okay, I see I'm up now. Okay, this is my chart. Hi, I'm Tracker, the Tesla Tracker. I started my journey over just about a year ago in October of 2023, and I said, Elon Musk at the time was inviting people to come onto X to create. So this is a great platform. It's a great place to create content. You can make money making great content. And I said, that sounds like a great idea. Elon, I think I'll take you up on your offer. And I came here and I've been trading myself, all by myself for years and years and years. And I said, I've got skills that I could bring to X. I never really been into the FinTwit space at all. I was never on Twitter really. I had an old Twitter account, but I just kind of, messed around with it and then just didn't do anything with it. But then I came onto X, and then I started looking around at who was following Twitter and who was following Tesla and doing this kind of stuff. And I thought, let's try to make a model. It's like if I wanted to come on. Well, let's see. I've written this story. A lot of people haven't maybe read it in a while, haven't posted in a while, but I said, I was trading all these stocks, and I had a terrible, terrible time with all the miners and the FTX and the 3 Hours Corporation and the big, uh, everyone's .com crash for this decade was the FTX crypto crash and Bitcoin, and I got taken down with that. My portfolio, I'd gone heavily into the miners and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is just sad. It's like, maybe if I just charted one stock and stayed on all the time, maybe I could do a really good job. And then maybe I could, and then I said, oh, and then Elon was saying, yeah, come create. And I was like, oh, maybe I could just become the Tesla tracker on X. And that's how my journey began. I said, I'll just track Tesla and show everybody, how I'm charting Tesla. And way back then, let's see, October of 2023 was around here. There's August, September, October. And everyone was looking for price to break out up here into the over 300 again. And I said, no, it's going to drop to 250. And like people are saying, no, that's crazy. It's not going to drop to 250. What are you talking about? I said, no, like I'm doing this. Here's exactly why here's my Elliott waves. I think it's going to drop to 250. And then like the next week it dropped to 250 and said, people are saying, what? That's incredible. How did you do that? It's like, it's just Elliott wave theory, man. And I got my first couple of hundred followers, and then I needed 500 followers to start monetizing. And I reached out to Tesla Booma Mama, Alexander Mertz, and she retweeted me. And then I got my first 500 followers, and then it kind of ballooned on from then. And I just kept making more and more bold predictions that would come true. And then finally, this is also the origin story of the triumvirate, how I met Kat and Matt. I met Cantonese Cat on X when, like in December, he posted this chart.
Oh,
where he had like all these.
I'm going to show your post. I'm going to show your post.
Oh yeah. You can show.
Yeah, you go. You keep talking.
My post or his post?
No,
His
I
post.
was going to bring my post where I talked about how I saw. He had like these 3 circles, and then like these 2 circles, and then he had these 3 circles, and then these 2 circles. I said, you know what? Look, that's just a fractal. These things are fractals of each other. And then so after this, it did this big dip down right here. And so said, it's, when this ends, it's going to do a big dip down.
Yeah.
And then I literally I took, I realize I say the word literally a lot. I took this high and this low, and I measured precisely these angles. And then I brought the whole scale over here, and then I just made the angles line up. And then I predicted 143.89. I think it was the exact price I had for the longest time. From all the way from in February, I just decided once I saw this high was in. No, I'm sorry. The December high, January. It was this one right here. Once we got the February 26th high, I posted. I said, you know what? I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I think maybe on my birthday, March 22nd, I'm calling for 143.89. And then I just kept, posting it, repeating everywhere I could find. and my follower count grew. It's got so big. And then that's when Ava McMillan asked her followers to follow me, and then I got like 4,000 followers in one day from her, and then just kept snowballing. And then March 22nd came and went, didn't hit that low, but then April 22nd, it went right down to 138.80, just within $5, and 1 month later than my prediction. And I said, that's close enough. I think I nailed it. And everyone else on the internet said, I nailed it too. So I think that gave me the most cred as the Tesla tracker. And along the way, Crypto Cantonese Cat introduced me to the great Matsby, or I just kept seeing Matsby stuff. It's like, this stuff looks really good. And then I watched Cat and Matt do a talk together and said, I want to be in there with you guys. Can I talk with you guys? And that's where the Triumvirate started. And
you felt the homo. You gave into the
homo. It's been history, magical history ever since.
Is this like the 24th Triumvirate show that we've done so far?
Is it? That's fantastic.
I think it is 24. Yeah.
Yeah, 24th and not anniversary, but 24th week anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah, 24-week anniversary. Yeah. But, when you're still in that early days of your bromance, you're still counting weeks. Oh, my son's 7 weeks old. Our bromance is 24 weeks old. But give or take a few. It's actually more weeks than that because we skipped a few weeks for various reasons. But yeah, look, I look at these triangle patterns, and I was showing people these triangle patterns for the longest time. I've been drawing them for a long time on my own. I simply look for prices in a trend. It's moving in a direction, and then seemingly for no reason at all, it jogs down in the opposite direction. And that usually forms the backbone of one of these triangles. And then it makes another high, and then you have a trend line, and then it makes a new higher low, and then that forms a trend line. Now you have the basis of basically once you have this point, and this point, and this point, and this point, it alludes to this triangle. As things develop with a triangle, it starts to push around a little bit. So in fact, here, let me just show you that exactly. And I'm going somewhere that's very specific with this. So early on in this triangle's history, it started off like this, and then I kind of knew it was going to keep filling out sideways, or the more it filled out sideways, the more it's like I'm expecting. And then so here it's up, down, up, and then it's going to come down, and you don't know it's going to break down below here, and it did. It pushes down, so it expands the triangle. Look, then after that, it never broke lower here, but it did tease out, come back into the triangle, and then break out. Right over this triangle right here, up, down. It goes in 5. So the trend is going up. It hits a peak. It suddenly reverses. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th move it exits out. In this case, it kind of came to the edge of this is a descending resistance line that eventually meets up with an ascending support line. And if it went all the way to the edge of the triangle, it's just got to get forced out some way. But usually these exit in the same direction. It's like a continuation pattern. It usually exits the same direction that it came in. So if I see the triangle going up, I expect it's going to exit to the upside as well. And here it does it. First it breaks out, and then it goes back inside the triangle again. And then this one kind of hung around the resistance trend line before it finally did break out, and it never went back in again. And there's only ever 2 touches on the bottom. It didn't make a third touch. Only 2 touches, and then it starts to creep out, and then it just rockets up. And then that's our 2021 to 2022, where we reached the all-time high right here in November 1st of 2021. And then ever since then, it's just been pain and more pain, right? There are people that got really excited and bought Tesla all around here, and expecting it to go higher, and it didn't. It's just been forced down and down and down and down. Oh my God, 101. It's the end of Tesla. It's going to 80. It's going to 0. No, it dipped down to 101. Then it came back up to 300. So basically, it goes 400, 100, 300, and then it broke below 200. It actually went to this 138.80. But look, it's just 2 touches on the bottom, not a third one, just 2 on the bottom. And then now it's hanging around the top of this resistance trend line, just like it did back here. So I think this is just about it. We're done. I don't. Danny Lee is expecting exactly what I used to think. This is what I used to think about these triangles. I actually have a whole bunch of detailed diagrams, but typically, it's going to exit to the upside eventually. But I see them. It's price is going up, suddenly reverses. It goes back up again to form the trend line for the resistance side, comes down to form the trend line for the support side. You get a fake out at the upside. It comes down. It does a double tap to the top. Then it comes down. Then suddenly it dives down and fakes out to the bottom side. Does a double tap on the bottom, and then breaks out. And this is what I was telling people from October of last year through February, through March and April, right around June is when Kat and Matt convinced me that they didn't really see it going down this low again. And I kept looking at everything that they're showing me. And it's like, yeah, I see it too. I don't see it necessarily going down again. And then I don't know why it took me so long, but it wasn't until like July, August, I started looking at this triangle again. It's like, oh yeah, it never went back for a third touch here. It just 2 touches and it was gone. 2 touches and it's gone. So Danny Lee is still expecting, and I respect the hell out of Danny Lee because he's sticking to his guns. He's got the exact same premise that I had. We came upon it completely independently. I didn't know him. He didn't know me. People were like coming to me in like April, May when I was getting all those followers for the calling the bottom here around 138.80. And I said, look, there's this guy, he's got this chart, looks just like yours, Tracker. And I looked at it, it's like, sure enough, it's like, wow, this guy is doing exactly what I'm doing. And so he's still looking for this. He's looking for it to come down to like 160, 150, and then go up. I think we're done. I think there won't be any third touch. There won't be another double cross. I think it's just going to go up from here.
Any reason why you don't think it's going to go down? Is it just because you know us and we're thinking up, or do you also have any other thoughts that that also have changed your mind? I guess
it's mostly you guys showing me all the Ichimoku support, seeing Matt's Gann charts. In fact, this is Matt's Gann chart rate. This is his logarithmic. I gotta put this on logarithm.
What happened to the triangle where price was back testing the top of the triangle after breaking out of it? Or is that's
still
not
there?
the same one?
Let's see. Like
oh, it's on the 15-minute chart.
Yeah. Let's see here. Wait, 4 hours. Yeah, here it is. So here's this gray thing is actually the 2-week Ichimoku cloud. I hand drew it so I could see it on any timeline. Let me just color it back to red so it kind of looks like an Ichimoku cloud. And this gray triangle here, this is the triangle that's sitting on top of the triangle. Like, so here's the big 3-year triangle. This dashed line is the 3-year long, 3-year-old now trend line of price coming down for resistance. And it's basically, we had a big oscillation over it, under it, almost to the same degree, to the same distance, over, under is above, back over it. Now it's just kind of touching in fact, it didn't touch. It didn't want to do the test. It's teasing a touch of this line one more time. If it does touch it one more time, maybe tomorrow in earnings, it would hit right here at 209.45, which is Zach Manis had predicted this a couple weeks ago, and I wrote this on my chart. He was saying he saw the 61.8% perfect touch at 209.45. Maybe we see it tomorrow. Maybe right at the close or something. I don't know. But just a perfect touch of this dashed resistance line, and then up from there, that would be amazing. I could see that. In fact, I do see that. That's why I got this green arrow that points up to 280.94, which is this 50% extension fib off of the 101 low, meaning it's a giant Elliott wave extension. Let me go back to this. It'll just be easier to show you on this one. In fact, you can see it right here. These dashed lines, this is my wave start. at 101.81. The top of wave 1 is 299.29, and the bottom of wave 2 is 130.80, giving me these fib extensions. And so it's not on here, but here's that 50% line, right? The 50% is the fib, the trickster fib. So it'll at least go right to that line, and then maybe it'll test back a little bit, maybe to 230 or so. I had it going like 270, then 215, then like 300 on one of my charts. But basically, I'd like to see just a perfect touch of that that 208. What was it just here? 209.45. That'd be really perfect. It'd be a nice nod to my mentor. Zach Manis is one of the two that taught me how to do my Elliott Wave theory. I learned from him and Garrett Patton over at ElliottWaveTrader.net. That's Avi Gilbert's group. Let's see. And they are the best in the world. Like, they're way better than I am. But, the difference between them and me is that they've got a few 100 years more collective experience, and I'm dirt cheap. I'm like free for most of y'all. $2 for if you want to subscribe to me now. Yeah, so this one right here, usually you would see this is about a little bit more. This is almost a 764, not quite the 618. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the wave 1, wave 2. So here, let's just draw it. Back in 2023 to 2024, what worked really well was a 764, 382, 1382, 100%, 2382 extension. But now, as I'm getting ready for 2025, I'm starting to see that I might have to change this pattern a little bit for all the bullishness that is coming up. So maybe we still get 764, and maybe instead of 382, maybe we get 50% here, and then the 1618, and then the one, I need the 1236 is what I need. Need a little bit of that 1236 action right there, and then the 2618. So maybe this is what we'll see for Tesla. Oh, and look, it starts to get really close to Matt's fib line here, or Gann arc. Well, that's like 2028, 2,335 in 2028, maybe. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Oh, wait. Except, I'm sorry, I made one mistake. Oh no, this is based on log scale. It's perfect. That's exactly what I want to do. Well, there you have it. So I'm looking forward to retest the almost 300 high and make it maybe slightly exceed it, then pull back to the 50% extension at around 237, and then it will break through. It'll have some resistance right here at the 100% where it's back just under the 414.50, but it won't be long before it gets over that. And then, yeah, let's see, go for this 800 level, and just so on and so on. I'm very bullish on Tesla, and I think it's no secret that you guys have been watching us for a while. All three of us are. Yeah, I don't know. Any questions, Kat?
No, I mean, I think you laid down your case very well, and there's a lot of fractals that are really playing out, especially the double top right here that looks like it's just trying to fake everybody out and get everybody frustrated. It's just part of the reason why I don't know whether or not it has to go back down to the lower part of the triangle and make another double tap, just because people are already so frustrated already.
Yeah, here's the double tap that Kat's talking about right here.
Yeah,
and they're frustrated after this back test. Like
come on.
I don't think they're gonna let people back in.
Yeah,
they're frustrated, but we keep telling them, look, it's a higher low, and then another higher low than that low, and this is just a lower high, but that's because it's in this triangle formation, which actually I need to update now on this chart.
But the reason why is because people don't buy the support when we like it. Like,
yep.
I point out all the time on X, if it drops here, I like it all the time. And I guarantee you most people don't buy it. But then when it breaks out, they buy it and then they get wrecked. And so that's what happens.
I get guilty of it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just like sorry, it's like completely useless comment, but just like the dating world, you don't want to date a girl who's like got everything, who's like widowed from like a inheritance or whatever. You want to get somebody when they're down. Like you want to get somebody when they're down, and you want to be their support, right? Because if you're getting somebody when they're high, when they got everything that they need, then you're just going to be their resistance. Like you're just getting in their way, right? So you want to be their support when they're down, and that's when you want to be the most bullish. But anyway, yeah, sorry.
No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it's like Matt says. I mean, I get guilty of it. I bought in this 240 range. I bought a bunch of TSLL in advance of the Robotaxi event, thinking that maybe that would be a good catalyst for it to go. I didn't want to be caught not holding any shares, and it like ran up to 300. So I bought in, and it ran down. That's fine. I can just hold the shares. It's not going to cost me anything. Hold the TSLL, and then just wait for the next time it does go up. If it doesn't go up this time, that's fine. I'll just wait until the election's over, and then it'll go up. And if that doesn't do it, then I'll just wait until 26 periods after when the lagging span catches up to here, 26 periods out, and then maybe it'll go up by then. It can't go into this triangle and then not go anywhere. It's after all this time, it just builds all this pressure, and it wants to explode out higher, just like this. It like people were frustrated back then too when it was like trading for about the same price it's trading now. Between 230 and 214, and then it just blew up. And maybe there's some people who are gonna, when it starts to go up here, they're gonna be afraid to, I don't know, maybe they'll just sell it, think it's gonna double top here and then go to zero. But let me tell you guys, Tesla, if you're not paying attention, this company is not going to zero. It is building the future of our human civilization. It's
And
all
people
like,
say,
yeah.
People say it's like a broken stock too, but just like looking at your triangle, it's obviously not. It's just following a pattern. Just sometimes it goes through levels that we expect to hold, but it does that all the time. So I think we should just always expect the unexpected with Tesla, but it does follow a formation perfectly.
I think it's a special Tesla night. Matt, could you walk us through your logarithmic Tesla chart and show us, the one that goes to, was it 8,000?
1 million.
1 million?
Yeah, no, that's Bitcoin.
Oh, here it is. So here's like, it goes 84,000 right there. But yeah, go ahead. Take it away, Matt.
Yeah, I know Kat wants to show his.
No, fine, go for it. I'm enjoying this. I mean,
I'm laughing now because Heidi just wrote, "Oh my God, the strangest dating advice in the world."
There's only one advice. The only advice is the advice that you don't want to hear, Heidi. So that was it. Well, you can say that you get them while they're down, or the other way to say it is you get them while they need the most support, right? I mean, that's what I'm there for. Anyway,
Yeah,
Matt, you want to show your chart here?
Yeah, before I show my GAN though, I wanted to point out, because everybody loves trend lines, so I'm going to point out my trend line here.
Yeah.
And like this is the linear scale trend. It's holding perfectly still. And where does that really meet? It's
I see a black screen. I see a black screen. Oh, there you go. I see it.
Yeah. So with this trend line, if you were talking about what Tesla or Tracker was talking about, you can see that it's around like 208, 209, that trend line down there. So possibly that could be a target, right? On linear scale and on log scale. On both scales, it's still holding a trend line, right? It's still holding. So
it's beautiful.
Whether you believe in trend lines or not, both linear and log, which is for Tesla, that's kind of a rare situation for holding both of those. It's doing well. I mean, trend lines are subjective because it could be, oh no, it's not holding anymore, it's underneath, But in general, it's touching all the parts it's supposed to be touching, just like Cat, and therefore it looks like it wants to go higher.
Like Matt's got a secret weapon. He's got something much better than just a basic trend line.
Yeah. So we're going to go to this GAN right here. Actually, I'm going to go to this one first. Ignore that total.
I only touch things where I'm not supposed to. But anyway, thank you for.
By the way, Kat, Heidi says this is called codependency.
You can call it whatever you want as long as it works. Sometimes you don't have to label things.
All right. So this is my original one that I used to post a long time ago about this arc. And then I said after earnings, it's going to go back above, and it's done exactly that. So more confluence of maybe 200 is that blue level again, like 201, 202, right? That would be low 200s, just a back test of all of that. And so that's a possibility, right? But every single thing I'm seeing is no matter what, they're all holding 200. Every single scenario I see, I'm not seeing anything that's going to 180 or 170 or 0. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing everything staying above 200, which to me is a bullish scenario for the future, and it's going to go higher. And this is looking for this GAN. It's looking like, yeah, 2,800 by the year 2027, so that could be a possibility going to the next level by that vertical line, because the history of this chart is the vertical lines have told a story that it's near the top of that cycle, and the orange levels intersect with that almost at the perfect time. So therefore, if it keeps that trend, then yes, 2,800 by 2027. So we'll see if it does stick to that trend or not, or if it extends it out a little bit further. And back to this GAN right here, where I drew a trend line. It already did that back test, right? August 5th, it already did the back test of the blue arc. So we don't really need to go back down there anymore. And you can see it's obviously a support. A support was a resistance, breakout back test. So we already had our breakout back test. We don't need a breakout back test, because this is a new higher low. Like here,
we don't need a Gary Busey outer motorcycle helmet. You guys remember that sketch?
But no, I don't.
Sorry.
But the reason why it kept backtesting here is because Tesla kept making lower lows, right? So it kept backtesting the arc going down because it was a lower low from here, then a lower low from here, and then it finally went negative or underneath and was resistance. But now it's the opposite situation. It's a higher low from here, and here it's not a lower low anymore, and it's even a higher low from the 2023 bottom. So this is a reason why I don't see it necessary going back down to the 170s again, down where this arc is again. 176, where maybe other people are saying it's possible, 180, 170, whatnot, because it's a higher low, it's already a breakout back test, and therefore all the support underneath it that I showed you before should hold, and it should gravitate to the blue level, which is around 290. So like over time, I'm not going to say tomorrow or the next day or even this year, but soon, relatively within a year, it's going to get there or above. Right. I think it'll actually get above 290 a lot sooner than a year. But I'm just saying time is irrelevant here, because this is just proof that the market structure is no longer that bearish, since we have a definable bottom right here. That's all I'm saying.
And people were asking, someone was asking earlier, what's our end of year target? My end of year target is I'm still maintaining, I believe Tesla can hit 330 before the year closes out this 2024.
I'll just go with this.
I think we got to wick up to it.
I'll just go with this blue level.
Yeah, that blue level sounds good. 291.
290.
I think it's going to run. I think it's going to run up to that level, then shy away from it. Then just kind of do the same thing Bitcoin is doing right now with 69,000. It's just going to shy up to it, come back a little bit, shy up to it, come back a little bit more, then shy up to it, then do a quick, freak everyone out, dip, and then break out right after that.
Just round it up to 300 already.
All right.
Yeah, right.
299.
I'd love to see a retest of the all-time high.
Yeah.
Maybe in January, and if not a Santa rally to 400, then at least 340, 369, something like that, and then a little fade in January, maybe February, March, and then we get a roar back up in July that takes us back to retest the all-time high.
Yeah. So yeah, I could see end of the year maybe 300. I could see that. Yeah. But what I don't understand is how people can look at this monthly chart with the Ichimoku on here and say, "Hey, this is bearish." I can't understand that, because this is on top of a lot of support here on a month-over-month basis.
Because price went down a lot this month. That's why.
Yeah, but it's still kind of like an inside candle, though. Still an inside candle.
I think there's people that they just feed on that FUD. They've been reading it for so long, for the last few years. They just think for every good piece of good news, then they have to go scramble and find like 3 pieces of bad news, and they obsess about the stupidest things. You know, it was like all the Tesla's issuing millions of recalls. They're over the air software updates.
Yeah, it's so dope. What about this, Cat? What's your opinion on this? The bull market support band now had like a bearish little cross.
Yeah, that never really bothers me all that much. I mean, it's still a higher low, and the bonus support band is not the end all be all. You can break above it just like you do on the left side, and you can have a little bit of a bullish cross, but you can still fall underneath of it. I think it's more of like a general guide. If you're starting to see like it kind of flattens a little bit, which is what it's trying to do, but the 20-week moving average is still pointing up. So I still don't think that it's going to be that bad of a resistance. It can just kind of break up off of it like it's butter if it wants to. But anyway, like if you also call it a bear flag too, then every time before it goes up, it always looks like a bear flag. So I don't know,
But isn't this like an M for making millions? Isn't that what that stands for?
That's right.
It's M for McDonald's, which means E. coli. But yeah. If you want me to, but yes, I certainly think that it still looks like a bull trend to me. I mean, like these double top things, they you have double top continuations all the time. So
yeah.
Oh,
and I'm gonna steal your Super Ichi, and it's still holding that baseline on the Super Ichi as support too. So,
range bound. Bound.
It looks no different than anything else.
Yeah,
it's just a normal pattern to me, but it's not the same as before, and the reason why is you can clearly see lower low, lower low, lower low. Even before that, lower low, lower low, lower low. Now what do you see? No, higher low, higher low, higher low. It's the exact opposite pattern for the first time in Tesla's history. So how can I be bearish long term? I cannot.
But all the recalls, Matt, millions of recalls.
But I'll just draw a line right here too to satisfy people, and you can see 217. The reason why it's been holding well too. Boom, 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 boom. Like lots of support in that area.
Yeah.
Right. So call it what you will, guys, but I don't care what happens tomorrow because I think the high time frame support on the monthly chart is going to hold regardless, which is going to be bullish for the future. And Boomtown, Massachusetts.
Yep. And my philosophy is I'm just like Elon. Who wants to live in a world where there's nothing to look forward to? So I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm looking forward to earnings, and I'm hoping for the best, and prepared for the worst.
Yeah, everybody always has something to complain about. Like today I was doing early voting, and I was getting in my car, my Tesla Model 3, and I turned on the FSD. It was only like 15 minutes. There was like a little bit of a turnout to make, and then like some guy behind me was just like raising his fist, pull up next to me, like yell like something I could not hear for like 10 seconds, and it just drove off.
Then you immediately sold your Tesla stock because you're like, wow.
I guess I don't know if he was like he was upset that I was using like FSD. I was turning a little bit too slow. Is he just like having a bad day? Is he just anyway? Like people always have something to complain about, but I made it there. I mean, I didn't really do anything. I was just press a button and I got there. So pretty amazing, actually. I mean, imagine like it's like the same thing people complain about, like flying in the sky, and then like. And it's like such a miracle that humans actually be able to fly on airplanes, But anyway, if you want to share my screen, I can just go through a couple things here real quick.
I was trying to talk about everything you were going to talk about, just so you.
It's a retaliation for like a Catterday or something like that.
Yeah, no, for my cones. It's putting cones all over the place. Yeah.
Well, you did own up that they're your cones. So anyway, so
all my glory.
Yeah, so the tracker has summarized his vision very well. He was talking to you for about the last 2 hours about how he sees the past with one eye and he sees the future with the other, right? That's exactly what you have just envisioned, which I've always wondered, like, wouldn't that make you cross-eyed? But anyway, the history of how I really like got to know Tracker or his existence was through this tweet. So this tweet was done on January 13th at 4:48 a.m. in Durham. In Durham, like he gives away his location. He knows that he tells you exactly where his toilet is at. His toilet is in North Carolina, right? And then like I woke up, right? Because I didn't wake up at like 4:48. I woke up at like 6 maybe. I went to the toilet. I sat on the toilet, and I was looking at this guy like saying that he was like he fixed my chart.
I fixed it / ruined it.
He fixed my chart, and like I'm okay. I'm like, look, like at that point I was thinking, oh, maybe there's a possibility where it kind of just bounce out the Ichimoku cloud. We'll see, you know. And then like I saw it, I was like, okay, I can see this fractal playing out. I can totally see that happening. That's certainly a very plausible hypothesis. And then one thing that was just like in complete shock was that he washed his hands and sanitized his phone. Like,
Yeah.
I did not believe that he sanitized his phone until I got to know him. Like, he really does sanitize his phone. Which anyway, yeah. So right now I'm working on a project. I'm working on a tracker T-shirt. So you know the front has like the tracker logo, and the back has this exact chart right here. So we'll see how it merchandises. Anyway, enough about that.
I'm totally buying one.
if you want to talk about charts, I can talk about charts here real quick. So the top right here is the monthly chart for Tesla. The bottom right here is the monthly chart for IWM, which is Russell 2000. When you talk about Tesla being a cyclical stock, it's no joke, right? Because it goes through these cycles. And coincidentally, they go through the same cycles as the Russell 2000, as IWM. It makes total sense because they are sensitive to the same degree of global liquidity and US money printing. Like they're basically just sensitive to the entire thing. The orange line here is the 20-month moving average. And basically, these things go through cycles. Whenever you see the 20-month moving average went from flat to positive sloping, usually good things happen, right? Whenever it went from flat to negative sloping, then it turned positive sloping, great things happen, right? Same thing over here. When it went flat and become positive sloping, great things happen. Well, right now you just had the 20-month moving average went from negative sloping here to positive sloping, right? And that coincides with basically exactly what happened during every single cycle for the IWM. And you can see that the cycles actually line up really well. You know, even here, I would say that there might be a little bit of relative underperformance between like 2013, 2019 or so for the IWM. And I would say the same thing is really happening around the same time for Tesla, right? Because I can totally see that too, because they are, even though they are getting into a lot of different businesses, they are still a car company at this point, predominantly, right? So you can see why they could be cyclical, why the margins can be affected by, by liquidity. But you're seeing a change in trend in the global liquidity, in U.S. liquidity, and in the economic cycle here based on IWM. And I think the same thing is probably going to end up happening for Tesla. Sometimes you end up having Tesla run ahead, for a few months ahead. Sometimes you end up having IWM runs a few months ahead. But the overall theme is that Tesla is still, up to this date, still a cyclical stock, and it still follows liquidity, right? And if you look, and these are not tracker triangles, but basically during these cycles over here, they really just look like they're ascending triangles, which are generally are bullish structures. You're building up an ascending triangle over here. Now, the worst, most pessimistic case, you might not break about this triangle until like 2026, which would be driving everybody insane. I don't think it's going to happen because I think the 20-month moving average is really crawling up pretty fast. So I think it's going to push price up a lot faster than like 2026. Which you
can alter it from the wicks. You can move it to the candle bodies, and then it'll just go closer. Just manipulate it.
2025. Yeah. See. But the idea is there. It's a ascending triangle. So. And these are bullish structures. So you can look at it basically happen. Now you have a little bit of dip down here on this ascending triangle, but ultimately works out in the end. Have I seen something similar like that? Yeah, I've seen it, with Ethereum back in 2016. We had like a breakdown of this ascending triangle and just like back tested, like, nope, I've decided to go bullish and just went ballistic. That's kind of what Tesla did. So if you're asking for like the worst case scenario, I would say like 2026 and dip down and go up, but I don't think it's going to do that. Because I just showed you why. Because the liquidity seems like it wants to push stocks higher, and it seems like the laggards, which is going to be the small caps and stocks like Tesla, which are extremely cyclical, they seem to be where money could end up rotating to next. That's kind of what I'm seeing here when it comes to like liquidity, and also same thing. Look at the global liquidity index here. Every single time where you're breaking above of this, ascending triangle, you have pretty significant increase in global liquidity. Every single time you have a breakout above this triangle here, you have a pretty significant increase in global liquidity. And right now we're having the same. You're basically breaking above this line over here, right? Like Matt was showing, like for the last 2 or 3 years, because of quantitative tightening in the U.S., you really have no breakout of this global liquidity until it's really started breaking out around like July of this year. And usually you might end up having a little bit of delay before it shows up in stocks, right? So I think that sooner or later, probably somewhere around 2025, I'm not sure if it's going to get to 300. It very well can by the end of the year. If it does, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. Like this is like you said, now it's forming more higher highs and higher lows. Now it's developing a bull trend. And again, you know how I know, because the 20-month moving average is starting to curl up, right? So these things are very objective. But there's nothing to really argue about in that instance, right? The last thing I want to talk about, I'm going to pass on to not talk about Tesla anymore, because Tesla is such a boring stock. It never does anything.
No, this is our special Tesla show.
I'm just kidding. No, I love talking about Tesla. So I'm going to remove these guys over here. Now, you have I don't know if you guys are familiar with the one of the Chinese classics, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
It was a great Nintendo game.
It's a great, yeah. It's like one of the great classics, right? Or I would like to say the Bromance of the Triumvirate, but yeah, they call it the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, where it was like back in the days when China was divided into like three countries essentially, and they're trying to fight against one another. The first sentence of that novel was 中文是分合久必分久必合，合久必分。廣東話係合久必分久必合，合久必分。Basically, what it translates as to, if you separate for a very long time, you're going to come together. And you're going to come together for a very long time, you're going to end up separating. And that's what, that's what kind of history was like, and that's kind of what stocks are like too, right? If you look at the Bollinger Band over here, every single cycle usually ends up beginning with a Bollinger Band squeeze, because price just kind of gone sideways for way too long, and there's not any like standard deviation. So you end up having like a very, very big Bollinger Band squeeze over here. And when you're having such a big squeeze for such a long time, they're going to end up separating. That's just what happens. You can't just squeeze forever. Like you can't just squeeze a tooth forever and not have it burst out one way or the other, right? So you so far for Tesla, you really have like 2.5 squeeze, like one squeeze over here that pushed way up. The other half squeeze was kind of over here. It's like, I pushed a little bit way up here, a little bit of expansion, but I got ED, like I couldn't get up. But anyway, came back down, consolidated sideways, so even longer. And this is the next squeeze, right? Some would say that this is wave one. This is wave two. Wave two is probably like, over here. Wave one is probably from here going up to here. Wave two is maybe like that. Wave three was like the entire big thing, which is the biggest wave. And then wave four, we just experienced it. This is like the beginning of wave five, maybe, right? Anyway, regardless, you have this squeezing and you have the separation. And what you're going to end up having for the most part is we either get a half squeeze like we did over here, or we get a full squeeze that we have over here and here, right? It's really hard to say based on that. It really does, depending on, and I know like Matt is probably more of a nihilist than I am. The more I find about Matt, I think like you really, really focus on charts. Like for me, I do think that like, the economic cycles matter. I do think that global liquidity does matter. But I also think that it's programmed in. It's programmed in. And look at your Gantt. I think most likely it's going to have squeezing hard like it did over here and here. But I'm, keeping a little bit of skepticism. Like, what if it does this? But I think it's probably going to end up bursting out, just based on what I'm seeing with IWM, based on what I'm seeing with like the indexes, based on what I'm seeing with a bunch of other things. I think it's probably going to end up being pushed up a lot higher. I don't think it's going to be like something exponential like it did over here. But I think it might be a little bit more muted, maybe like something like over here, Even here is pretty exponential, actually. So regardless, I do think that we're at a juncture where we're having our Bollinger Band squeeze, and we've been squeezing for a very long time. and I think it might be time for it to kind of have a little bit of a separation. It looks like it's starting to want to do that. If you look at the monthly Bollinger Band, it looks like it might be wanting to start to do that, but not quite, right? I really think that we're just going to have to give it some time, but overall, this is a bull trend over here over the last like 5 or 6 months. Is a bull trend. I don't think there's any dispute for that. But those are kind of my thoughts. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of like you already showed all the Ichimoku stuff already, and those are kind of like my cycle thoughts and where I think we're in the cycle, things like that. So,
pull up the 8-hour Bollinger Bands.
The 8-hour Bollinger Bands.
Yeah.
Where you're me, I'm Matt now. Like what?
Yeah. Look. Oh, look how squeezy it's getting.
Like
maybe the 4-hour bands. I'm sorry.
I think it's
4-hour bands.
Yeah. Yeah, a little dangly. Oh, one more thing. No, you didn't remind me of one more thing. Like I think that this really is shaping out to be a and I don't know, like this is never 100% certainty, but this pattern and with this like lack of volume, it really does look like an island reversal potentially building up,
bullish divergence.
Yeah, it looks like it really looks like a little bit of like a bullish island here. The whole rationale is, and again, none of these are like 100%, and they can certainly go down to 200. Like I'm not disputing any of that, but if you're having something like this where there's a lot of bearish energy, you kind of push price all the way down, gap down like this, and the bears cannot bring it down any further.
Right.
And the volume is depleting. Where is this going to go next? Where do you think it's going to go next?
The only way it can go.
Yeah, the candle, the candle, like today's candle give you a little bit of a clue, and maybe you can argue
the first green one, huh?
Yeah, and you can also argue that the candle over here might have given you a little bit of a clue, right? And you can also argue that maybe there are more wicks down below than there is above, right? And then you can also look at like the order block thing, if you look at like a lower time frame. Actually, I did see some demand. Did they take off the order blocks? Oh no, we're going down to 200. We're going down to 180. No, but if you just look at the daily chart, if you just like do traditional analysis, you look at volume. The downtrend, it's been exhausted. Like they don't like where are the bears? Like are they waiting for the earnings to push things down a lot lower? Maybe, but it just seems like if they really wanted to push price lower, this like low volume chop over here, that would have been the opportunity. It wouldn't take a whole lot of volume for you to push price lower. They just didn't do it. Why didn't they do it? Because they're waiting for earnings, so people shorting Tesla would make money from their puts. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Actually, that I wish we know like a good flow guy or flow girl, and we can actually get like some other data behind that. But honestly, like that's kind of what I'm seeing. I see that there is a possibility of like an island, a bullish island reversal where it just gaps up with earnings on Wednesday, or I guess it'd be Thursday morning. I would give that probability maybe like 75%. So.
Well, also like with the daily Ichimoku too on Thursday morning, like I showed, the cloud is really narrow right there. Really
there's narrow. A good point of attack right there by Friday, right? Yeah,
super narrow. Like that's like the best. See, it's all programmed.
Yeah, we can point for it to bash through.
Yeah. So this is one leg over here. This is the other leg. You don't penetrate the leg. You penetrate between the legs. Like that's how. Sorry, I'm sorry. Did we just get demonetized? But anyway.
Off the isthmus.
Yeah. So, but the truth is, this is a point of attack. Like based on Ichimoku Cloud, you're supposed to look at weak points of attack. This is a weak point of attack right there. So, so we'll see what happens with earnings. But yeah, that was fun. Oh, one more thing. I want to show you one more thing.
I have one more thing, but go ahead.
You always have one more thing, Tracker. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. Well, because I listen to you, and then something you say inspires me, and then I'm like, oh wait, I have this other thought.
I am so freaking inspiring. It's not even funny. No, that's so one thing that I was looking at is if you think about what is happening, and this is a little bit controversial, and like somebody like, oh, you can't just look at charts. You can't. That doesn't make any sense. You can't just do that. Like, no. And I'm like, oh, watch me, I'll do it.
For the record,
Um,
he's dividing NVIDIA by Tesla,
yeah, so this is a
comparing the two.
NVIDIA Tesla chart, and you can see that there has been a bearish divergence that has been building up over the last half a year or so. And the last cycle before that, NVIDIA also had a period of time where it was just, yeah, so NVIDIA over Tesla, right? If this chart goes up, that means NVIDIA is outperforming Tesla. If this chart goes down, it means NVIDIA is underperforming Tesla, right? These things go for cycles too, don't they? I mean, just look at it. They just like loop, 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 right? And before the cycle tops and changes trend, you are going to get a little bit of a bearish divergence that builds up, you know. And the bearish divergence it doesn't have to work out right away, but the longer it builds up, the more powerful it is. Right. The whole idea is that the last cycle you had this bearish divergence that's been building up here, and certainly after it gets up to a while around like September 2018 or so, liquidity flew from Nvidia to Tesla. Right. The rest is history. Like you know what happened all the way through. You know, like you know exactly what happened. Right. So the with the liquidity flow from one stock to another, and Nvidia has gone up like by more than 10x, and Tesla has done absolutely nothing for about three or 4 years. It does make you wonder, right? So you chart these things. There's a little bit of a bearish divergence here up top here, just like it did over here. So it does make you wonder whether or not liquidity is going to end up, starting flowing from one stock to another. A lot of people are like, oh, you can't just chart this. Like you have to think about like the fundamentals. Do you think I don't know the fundamentals? I probably don't know it as much as like the insiders do. Does anybody know as much insider information than the insiders? No, because you're outsiders, right? If you're an outsider and you don't know the insider information, what are you going to do? You look at charts. You try to figure out, is there any loss of momentum? Is there any shift of momentum? What's the big money doing? What's the volume doing? We're going to try to figure out what the insiders are thinking. That's basically the whole idea for me to chart things. Right.
And also, I want to point out something too. Like, it's basically been holding support for the past 3 weeks in a boring zone, right? 2.5 weeks, I would say. And insiders, they sometimes break support before earnings. Example would be Enphase. They broke support on Friday's weekly candle close before earnings this week, and then the stock went much lower. So it's like somebody knew something, so they sold before, and it broke support. And that didn't happen with Tesla, so it just kind of makes me think that, hey, maybe it's not going to go too much lower. So just a thought.
Yeah, I think Enphase
Good thought.
Enphase is tricky too because it's been more or less still a downtrend, and it's hard to like Tesla has been developing an uptrend. So, but regardless, I do think that even just if you just look at Nvidia chart by itself, and I don't want to dog Nvidia because I think it's going to keep going up higher. If you ask me where it's going to go, I think it's going to like maybe like 350, but it's not 10x. It's not like what it did already. The trend is exhausting. I think the RSI is already like overheated, kind of like over here, right? Kind of like over here. I think it can probably still go up a little bit higher, but I think the trend's exhausting. Maybe another like 2.5, 3x from here, which should still be a lot of pretty significant gain. But I think the cycle is probably ending for Nvidia. Same thing if you look at the Bollinger Band. How I was talking about the Bollinger Band contraction. Every single time when there's a exhaustion of Nvidia chart, you're gonna have the Bollinger Band kind of coming back from Earth from like negatives, and it's coming back because we consolidated sideways over for 4 months, and you have a lot decrease in standard deviation. So the lower Bollinger Band is coming back. It's not yet anywhere close to price, so I still think that we probably still have a lot more room to go, to like 350 or something like that. And that might be potentially be like the end of cycle. I could be wrong, but that's kind of where I'm eyeing, which is also part of the reason why I'm not really allocating any additional funds to Nvidia exposure. I still hold everything because I still think it's going to go up higher, but I am seeing some signs for like some trend exhaustion here, kind of like it did over here, before it like pops off, kind of like it did over here.
The Bollinger Band is visible again. The bottom band is almost coming back up.
Yep. So it's maybe like similar to like maybe like this spot over here in this cycle, maybe similar to like maybe this spot over here in this cycle, right? So I'm a little bit wary of like Nvidia. So that's why I'm thinking it makes sense where money might be rotating to Tesla at this point. It just makes sense to me that it's starting to developing a bull trend over here, and that may be where the money's rotating to. So anyway,
okay.
You have something cool to show.
Yeah. So here's the last. It's nothing. It's not a chart or anything. It's just me talking. Actually, if you could put back up your Tesla over IWM chart, where like they were like in two panes.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Let me.
Sorry, Matt. Go back to Cat. Anyway, it was just something that actually, while you're talking about it, and something Kim Appreciates Life said in the chat, it's like that's wild with IWM and Tesla, and it just got me thinking. Well, it makes sense to me, and I guess I should say it to everybody. I'll say it out loud. You know, the difference between back in the day, you'd have an idea, you'd make a company, your company would focus on one product or one service, like McDonald's making hamburgers, um, or Sears selling everything under the sun, selling products, um, or gas stations
What's a
selling.
Sears? I'm just joking.
Oh, I know, right? What's a Sears?
I don't know. I went and saw the softer side, but like I didn't get anything from it.
See a reversible belt from Sears?
I won't sing the jingle because I don't want to get demonetized, but otherwise I would.
Well, I don't think they don't care anymore about the Sears. There's no copyright on that.
Come
Yeah,
and see the softer side of Sears.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
there you
right. Wow.
So back in the day, you build a company, you would do this one thing, and then maybe you would, edge out other competitors in the space, and then your company would just you just try to keep growing the volume of customers, which means you have to get more money to buy more inventory and pay more workers to do the service or make and ship the product. And a company's growth would just sort of look like like sort of maybe an S curve where it starts off really low and then has this point where it starts to just really go bonkers, and then it starts to level out, right? Where the beast is just gets too big, the surface area is too small in relation to its overall volume, right? And it can't get enough oxygen and nutrition and waste management to all the parts of its cells. Sorry, I'm mixing metaphors here. But Tesla, but then a small company, that has the beginning of that S curve, right? And so um, the thing about tech is they can leverage a lot of productivity without having to necessarily increase a lot of workers or have to buy a lot of extra products. All they need is a new idea that they can encode in software and sometimes build out in hardware. Usually it's more the software. And that's why tech is so big, because you can just stack one S curve, then come with another disruptive product that's really just a set of programs, and then I have another S curve that builds on that one, and another S curve, and another S curve. And so small caps and tech, they just keep growing and growing. And Tesla is like that. It grows more like IWM, like a small cap, because they just keep coming up with these new ideas, and they upgrade the software, and they come up with a new product that needs more software, and they just keep coming up. They come up with more and more things to disrupt what's going on out there, what the products that we're using, the services that we're using out there in the world. And Tesla is, you've seen those graphs, or hopefully you have, where they just show you like, here's Tesla making electric cars. Oh, here's Tesla making battery and energy storage and solar panels. And oh, here's Tesla making um, you know AI and autonomous robots and so on and so on. They just keep stacking on more S curves, and that's why I really see the company. They're a giant engineering company that solves. They tackle huge problems with great success. They've got the best talents in the world engineering all these problems away, and there's no limit to their growth. They can just keep stacking S curve on S curve on S curve. And so we've just been in a lull where Tesla has had to prove itself as a car company, and they've proven themselves. I mean, there was no EV market until Tesla came in. Nobody had an electric vehicle until Tesla said, we're gonna make electric vehicles. Everyone had prototypes, but nobody had. GM had like that one thing. They had that electric car, but then they killed it, right? Because it was too successful, and they were afraid it was going to outperform their other product lines. So they actually recalled all those vehicles and then crushed them up in a lot. There's a documentary on that. Who killed the electric car? The answer is GM. GM killed their own electric car. But Tesla is they're the trailblazers, and they will just keep going. I don't see any end in sight. I think it could be 1,000 years from now, and there'll be like these giant ships that have like SpaceX and Tesla on them, and inside there's all these Tesla products, and Optimus Gen 17 robots manning most of everything, and the humans just kind of like ride along as the queen bees inside these ships.
We're gonna have Tesla underwear. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh yeah, just wonderful.
Yeah, everything is gonna be Tesla. If you really like the Tesla correlation with the IWM, you're really gonna like this. I've shown you this before, like a few months ago. The Russell 2000 over S&P 500 chart, RUT over SPX, tells you a whole story about the small cap versus large cap and how these things also go in cycles. You remember when there's a dot-com bubble mania?
Yep.
The Russell 2000 was severely underperforming the S&P 500 because the S&P 500 is where all the tech companies would be, whereas the Russell 2000 is like like oil, gas, financial. Nobody care about that. We just want like the internet, so the Russell 2000 has severely underperformed S&P 500 for a very long time until May of 2019. No, not May of 1999, right?
You got mail.
Yeah, exactly. You got mail. So what happened at that point was you had the dot-com bubble burst, and the money rotated into the small caps, which included the financials, included the house, like the builders, things like that, right? So all those things end up getting more highly leveraged, and next thing you know, you're creating another little bit of a bubble over here, which eventually got bursted. And that didn't just burst the Russell 2000, it also burst the S&P 500 as well together on the Great Financial Crisis. Everything tanked, and they tanked together. But during this period of time, that's when money started rotating back to large caps, because you have like these amazing companies that have just kind of taken over the world, like Apple, Microsoft, Google. And they just kind of taken over, so they are going to get more valuation. And right now they're trading a little bit rich, whereas some small caps actually trading at a quite reasonable valuation. These things all go through cycles. Now, at the peak over here, when you're thinking, oh yeah, small cap is the only way to make money, and that's when you have a bearish divergence over here that eventually turn into large cap is the only way to make money over the next 15 years, right? And right now the conventional wisdom is, until like I think Trike also believed this until like I like unwired his brain. The conventional wisdom is, oh, the large cap is the only way to make money. Like, why would you want to invest in small caps? Well, you're having a lot of bullish divergence here on this chart, saying that Russell 2000 may be starting to regain some momentum here against the S&P 500, right? So I see this being very similar. Here's a bearish divergence that worked out. Here's a bullish divergence that is building up, right? So I imagine a world where small caps could end up outperforming large caps. Imagine that. And another piece of confirmation is that if you look at the monthly chart here on this ratio of the Russell 2000 over the S&P 500, what do you call this thing over here where this big green candle and the subsequent 3 candles going down, and that is still an inside candle to this green candle over here? What do you call this?
The 3 methods candle.
Yeah, rising 3 methods.
Rising 3 methods, that's it.
Yeah, rising 3 methods. And what is if technically if it works out, where's the next candle going to go? Because it's 3.
It's gonna go up.
It's going to be like boo, right?
Big green.
Yeah.
I used to call these the end candles.
Yeah.
But when I before I talk to anybody, I'm just learning all this stuff on my own. I'm like, oh, there's that bullish N.
Yeah. And that's exactly the like, if anything, you can look at this as like a big bull flag. It's another way to kind of look at it, where you have all these inside candles over here. So I would not be surprised if over the next 10-15 years or so, small caps end up outperform large caps, and you might end up having but you're going to say
but there's a recession coming. Small caps are gonna get hurt.
if God, you're so
I think that was my Meet Kevin interpretation.
But Kevin,
That was great.
If there really was a recession, why was there like a big giant Wyckoff here? That is playing out. Why is it trying to challenge the 0.7686 here? This is the IWM chart on the monthly. Why is it like already broken out of the 0.618 and really knocking the door on the 0.786, and if it pushed against this 0.786 is going to go to the moon? Like why is that? Where's the moon? Around 300. Like the 1.61 is around 300. So I don't know like what these people are talking about. I'm just gonna leave it as that. I don't know what these people are talking about. So with that said, you guys want to move on to like Bitcoin and miners and talk about like 100 of them, or what else do you want to do?
Yeah, before we do that, I just want to point out that I love every time you bring up this chart because it looks like the southern, like it looks like the globe, like the southern half of a globe. There's like India, and then now you ruined it.
Oh yeah,
So
sorry.
it's just the part you had before.
I fixed it.
It looks
for
like
you,
India, and then China, and then it goes through like, in Risk, you go over that land bridge from Russia into Alaska, and then there's like the California, Baja, and then Texas, and then there's just like, but all of South America's been chopped off. You can see like Florida down there is that tweezer bottom that we just had in 2020.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. There you go. Right there. You can see
like these guys over here.
Hey guys,
yeah.
Do we have a
I can even
coupon
see Italy there, to the east of. I'm sorry, to the west of India.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at the Tesla daily chart, if you really want to like be abstract, I don't know why we're doing this, but I'm happy to oblige. If you want to look at this over here, this looks like a Key West over here. I mean, that's anyway. I don't know what you're doing, but
so what does this mean? Florida Soft asks, "Is there a coupon expiring tonight?"
Because Meet Kevin always has coupons. So yeah, yeah, we do have a coupon expiring exactly in 35 seconds. So you guys better get on that. Really quick.
It's for the Mickey D the E. coli combo.
Yeah.
But it looks like IWM really wants to break out. Like it really does. I don't have anything else to say about it. And if IWM and Tesla, Russell 2000 and Tesla shares very similar liquidity conditions in terms of cycles, then I think sooner or later, if one breaks out, the other one's going to break out. So that's that's kind of my spiel, if you will.
But Kat, what about all these people losing their jobs?
The commercial real estate crisis.
That's
actually a real thing.
Because the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer because every single
time we'll just make us pay for it. They'll save the bank. They'll bail out the banks again.
The sad thing is,
real estate players.
Every single time when they print a lot of money, what happens is the rich makes a lot of money from it, and then they sell because they have insider information. So the Fed is going to be like, oh, we can't invest in individual stocks anymore because that's not right, and that's when everybody sells. And then next thing you know, inflation goes up anyway because they print a bunch of money. So the poor are going to end up getting stuck with no assets, with a bunch of inflation in their hands. They can't buy anything. And the rich just going to end up saying, oh, you guys are screwed. Well, the Fed, can you start printing money? Can you start printing money ever since October 2023 when the stock market was like in the dumps? Everybody was scared. And the Fed was like, sure. Are we going to tell anybody about it? Nah, you guys just keep investing in stocks. You're fine. Don't worry about it. So they invested in stocks in October 2023. And what happens? IWM went from 160 all the way up to 220s. The poor people got poorer because they got screwed by inflation. And here we are talking about stocks to retail investors when we get them interested. So.
Oh yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Thank you guys for watching our Tesla special part. We'll go on and do some new stuff now, some non-Tesla stuff. But I have one quick question, Matt. The answer could be no. I don't expect you, but do you have a chart that explains why McDonald's went down that isn't E. coli?
Oh, I was looking at that earlier, and I saw the news, and it was delicious.
That was my first thought. I saw the E. coli story. I saw McDonald's going after hours. Like, oh, I'll bet Matt's got a chart that explains that.
Well, I was going to, but I just did a quick look at McDonald's, and all it did right when the news break is it went here. It went to 280, like 281 or 2, and then it bounced and recovered into like the 290s or something. But that's all it did. It went to the 150-week moving average pre or after hours. So we'll see. I mean, it's just got extended, so it's already
it backfilled that stupid gap.
Yeah. I mean, what's the 4-hour close? Yeah. See, look it went down to 282, right? 282. You can see that on the top, right here, 282, right here. Yeah. So yeah, on the weekly chart, what is that? 281.28 is the 50-week moving average. So I mean, it just went straight down to support. That's all it did.
I predict that they're going to find out that plungers at Home Depot. No, wait, at Walmart. No, wait. Let's see. Something at Walmart is going to make you sick in the news next week, because Walmart is right at resistance that I think it's going to send it back down a little bit, just about the same amount that it sent McDonald's back. It's not going to be a big deal, but they're going to make a big deal out of it.
What's going to make me sick about Walmart? The low prices. I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Walmart scandal, because it's right at resistance too.
The great value products. I mean,
there's like exactly. There's like 2-3% left on it before it's got to drop. On my chart.
Well, it's been fun, gents. No, actually, you guys want to talk about like Bitcoin?
Yeah, let's go to Bitcoin here.
Bitcoin's so exciting.
I'll do some BTC.
I was the Bitcoin tracker all last weekend.
You were tracking that BTC?
Yeah, you actually timed the 66,500 almost perfectly. So.
I know, right? Wait. Yeah. Ow. I need some Tylenol for I just hurt myself patting myself on the back.
Oh, wow. Jesus Christ.
Come and feel the softer side of
Jesus. What's going on now? So I did a post yesterday on X saying that it was a perfect hit of the 66,577. And it's still holding. So what I see right now, just taking off the GAN. I like to take off GAN sometimes, just to take a look. And look at that. It got rejected, 786, and it went right back down to the halfway point. So does it really need to go back down to the 618? When I look to the left, I don't really see a necessity to, because of all of this previous support here, previous resistance here, previous support here. So I can really see the 66,577 just hold. So I don't see a need to go lower. But if it did go lower, look what's down there at 64.53, and that matches kind of a little bit where the GAN is below. So technically, if it did go down there, it would just be a super bullish breakout back test of that zone and go higher. So no matter what, I'm not worried about Bitcoin, because it looks to me on my linear scale chart here that for the first time, just like Tesla, really, it's from this downtrend. It's a shorter time period than Tesla. It's not 17 years. But basically, from here, it's making higher high, higher low, higher high, and maybe a higher low somewhere over here. So it hasn't really done that before, right? It hasn't really done that. It went here, higher, and then kind of like just building a base right here at this level. But it's never really did like a step up like that before and make a higher high from the previous lower highs. So this is a very, very good development. And I can see this breaking through 69,000 sooner than later. And when it does that, I think it'll go much, much higher. And one thing I kind of want to point out is going back in time to this 2017 high down to this low here. We can see the complete rejection was the full extension. It was the 4.236. Like, that's why price stopped exactly where it did at 73.7, because it just wicked above the full extension and it went back down to the 3.618. And now it's holding that 3.618 as support. So basically, this is the final step before true launch mode activation is indeed pre-programmed, whatever you want to call it. It's just going to blast off, because that'll be the end of this Fibonacci, that we'll never be able to use it ever again. And then we'll have to go to more recent ones. So just wanted to show that linear scale confluence for you guys, that this is
what's going on.
No, I just wanted to show that confluence of why did price stop out there? I mean, I think it should have stopped out this time. I think it should have, but you were saying it was truncated and stuff like that. But I agree. It should have hit the full extension right there, but something happened. It just didn't. Because if you look at the total crypto market cap, it never made a higher high yet, but Bitcoin did, right? The total crypto cap is still at the 786 from that same high. So Bitcoin should have been higher in 2021, but it never did. So this is why it stopped at the
FTX, Three Arrows Corporation, Ponzi schemes.
Or just liquidity drain. I mean, like the people who already knew, like they sold out MicroStrategy on the wick there in February 2021. They already knew that Bitcoin's not going to make that much higher. So, yeah, it was just a weird cycle. But anyway,
you front ran it.
Yeah,
front ran the downside.
So where are we going, Rick? Yeah.
But yeah, so 73,000 is the step to launch above, but before that, the all-important orange level, 69,420. I'll just round up. Got to break above it.
Let me ask you this: what's the 4618 look like on that chart?
Oh, the 4618.
4618.
I don't do those fibs, Dragger. Don't do them.
They match up. I mean, you can start the cycle over again, but if you leave the old chart and then put up the new chart,
79. Well, this is linear scale. Yeah, 79.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, 79,000.
Yeah. So that's this is my story, and I'm sticking to it. But this is bullish. This is not bearish. I see some posts on X that I'm challenging, saying that it's going to go back to 61, 62. But I don't see it with this chart. I don't see it coming back down here.
Yeah, but they have like 500,000 followers, and you have like 15,000. So I think they're probably gonna be right.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
So my Bitcoin chart, when we break out, I think we'll go right to 74,000, then kind of dither around between 74,000 and 72,300 for a little bit, and then go on up to 81,180, or maybe it'll get stuck right about the max 4618 that we were just looking at. We're talking about 79,000, like that, somewhere in here. Yeah. And then my 5-wave cycle pulls back a little bit and then goes up higher again. I mean, the bigger cycles go to like 100,000s and then millions and billions. Oh, look, my chart is up there. Sorry. Woohoo! We are here. We are right. Wait, this one? Yeah, right here. I've got this question mark kind of hovering right now. Either will we get an ABC down to 64,802, or will it just like it's done with this 66,642 and then just goes back up again? We've had 2 tests of this trend line. The third one could, then the second one, it actually broke out and then came back down. It's just testing supports. Whatever support it finds, that might be all it needs, and then it just goes back up again and then breaks through on the third run. I wasn't expecting this to break up through the trend line. I thought it would creep up to it again, and then go back down again, but it actually put a toe over it. So that means now it's just got to find the last support before it does the Morobutsu and breaks the God candle, the breakthrough here. So we're very, very close in Bitcoin. Very close.
How close, Tracker?
It's so close. It'll probably be this year. I mean, it'll be this year. I don't know if it'll either like around election, before election, after election. Very close.
Yeah.
I guess the elections are way over here. I think it's be before election, actually, because I don't think it's going to take until, November 7th, or I'm sorry, November 6th, be the day after the election.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody asked about XRP. Do we want to talk about XRP?
You want me to? Can I show my chart here real quick too?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it's gonna be quick.
That's gonna be quick.
Yeah. If I can. There you are. So everybody, so IWM is kind of like my XRP format. I always just talk about IWM. I can talk about IWM for like hours. You know how you had a Katana on the monthly here on the Ichimoku cloud, and it's really starting to separate out, right? And this is usually a beginning sign of something that's more powerful that can be coming. And whenever you have a separation of the Tenkan indication or baseline and a conversion line, whatever you call them, generally a bigger trend comes after that, right? After a bullish cross of the Tenkan indication, like it did over here during the COVID money printing, like it did over here ever since it got through the hump down here around like 2016, and it just went up a lot higher after it had a bullish cross and a nice separation between the two, right? Same thing over here. Whenever you have the true like recovery bull market that went from the great financial crisis, you have a separation over here, right? Well, Bitcoin never really have done that in the past. Bitcoin has just really been like, oh, you had a bullish cross, katana all the way up. Okay. You had a bullish cross, I'm not going to have much separation. I'm just going to rush all the way up, right? You have like a bullish cross here. Okay, we're just going to rush all the way up and finish the whole cycle in like 6 months, Over here, this cycle is different. This cycle is different. This cycle looks more like you would in a cyclical sense, where you had a bullish cross and you end up having a nice separation between the Tenkan and Kijun. That tells me that maybe you have a little bit more of a sustainable bull rally, rather than like these quick things that films all the way up like crazy and then just this looks a little bit more sustainable. And the conversion line of the Tenkan is really serving as very nice support to kind of push up price a little bit higher, kind of like the beginning of these bull markets over here, for IWM, kind of like that, right? Kind of like that, right? And kind of like what it's trying to do right now. So I think that this is actually a pretty healthy price action, even though it drove everybody insane for the entire 2024. Like the technicals are actually working out very, very beautifully. So I'm not bearish on Bitcoin. I think it still has some room to go. Some people are speculating that the bull cycle would end at 100,000 or lower. I don't know that. All I know is that you had a nice building up of a bull trend, and these two lines are starting to expand. And when these two lines are starting to expand, good things happen, right? That's all I know. But anyway, that was it.
I like it.
Yeah, you want to do a lightning round with Matt? Just go through all the miners, and we'll just call the show.
I feel like we did this morning. We kind of right at the end of the show that we did this morning. I was like asking Matt the same thing people keep asking me. It's like, well, there are all these miners. Like, which one should I go with? Which's the best miner? Like, I'm like, Matt, are we just like bullish on all the miners? Like, it doesn't really matter which one you pick. They're all pretty good. And you started like highlighting ones that looked like they had some like less resistance and some that had more resistance on his Gann charts.
Yeah, I can go over that, but somebody asked about XRP. There's really no update, so
maybe they're trolling us because we always talk about XRP. I mean, like they're joking. But go ahead. I've got XRP. Let's see it.
Yeah, so it's just stuck. I'll just take off that fib real quick, but you can just see the SEC appeal news. It has no effect on XRP because it's not a security anyway. It was already deemed that, so that was never under appeal. But it was just a reason to get it from resistance back down to support. And then where's that support? All you need is the moving averages there. And it's the 100-week moving average right there. Just stuck in between the 50 and the 100. But yeah, it's still holding support, still riding this 100-week moving average. It's upward sloping. The 200 is still kind of upward sloping too. Everything is just where it should be, really. It broke out, hit resistance, and now it's back testing support. So it's a classic breakout back test. And now what we need to see is no more lower lows. We need to see something like building a base and go higher and then break through and then build a base and go higher. And then once that happens, then it'll be in bull mode. But until then, it still really hasn't made a higher high or anything. So it still kind of is in that lower time frame downtrend, right? From here, lower low, lower low. So we don't know yet if this is going to hold, but I'm pretty sure it has a good feeling it's going to hold, because regardless, this 382 is going to hold. I have no doubt about that. And that would be a lower low from here regardless. So I think it's in the process of starting to go up and make higher lows. I think it's finally doing that from this downtrend here. I'm not talking about this whole uptrend here. I'm just talking about from July of 2023 down. I think it's starting to reverse that now. And maybe we'll see a higher high soon, but it's got to break this arc first to get there. So
Does it still have the tightest Bollinger Band of anything ever in the history of Bollinger Bands?
Yeah, on the monthly chart, the BBs are pretty nice. Oh, BBB. Yeah, so just taking that off. They're getting really tight. Really tight. It's never been that tight. In fact, it's like double the tightness from before, you know.
Oh my gosh. Tell me more. Tell me more things like that, Matt.
Double the tightness, double the fun. That's yeah.
It looks like a colon or something right now.
It's, yeah, I mean, like it's the sphincter of the rectum. They're actually two. There's actually internal and external. Anyway, that's a different story. We'll move on to this. Let's our viewers are leaving. Let's stop talking about XRP.
Let's see here. All right. We'll go down the list.
Talk about all
CLSK, beautiful. Mara, nice. Riot, great. Like that.
Love it.
Yeah, that's
I can totally see what you're talking about. Yeah.
All right, so just using the fibs and the market symmetry alone, I'm just going to use that. So I've been watching this 50% level from the all-time high of Klusk and the all-time low down here. And all this week, it's been riding above it. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. So 1207, that is the beauty of what I'm looking at. So as long as that holds, it's going higher, right? That's the bottom line. Who cares about the moving averages? Who cares about anything else? Because a lot of things are breaking resistance. For example, Wolf, Cypher, even non-crypto stuff like SoFi, they're breaking resistance and they're going higher. So the trend is in the stock market right now is some of these resistance levels don't matter anymore. So I'm just specifically focusing on fib levels and the GAN levels just to see. And if this fib level holds, then CLSK is going higher. It's really good. Now, Mara, daily chart, I have this black line drawn. Why? Because of a previous support and also resistance back here too. And it closed above it today. So I use this black line simply because it's not even really that close to the 50 anymore. And it's not even that close to the 618. So I just wanted to see some sort of previous support, and that black line kind of satisfies my needs right there. So therefore, I'm going to use it, and we got a daily candle close above it. So that is a good sign. But this one also, we can use the moving averages. And what do you know? It is holding the 100-day moving average as a support. So just on a day-to-day basis,
your 50's curling up.
Yeah, 50's curling up. But just on a day-to-day basis, I'm focusing on the day because I want to show everybody that every single day they're back testing support and support's holding, which is a good bullish sign for miners, right? Very, very good. And then Riot, it already did break the 100 and it broke above my GAN level there, which was super exciting to see. I didn't think it was going to have it in it, but it did. This is one of the few that I didn't sell, and I actually am writing this one out. So that's a good thing. And I think it still has room to go up to the 10s and maybe beyond. And Cypher just super blew my mind. It just exploded over everything. Last week, it closed above the the 200 and then continuation follow through above the 702 and my orange GAN level. And I think $7 is next. I really do. Daily chart, it's just showing that too. Yesterday broke out above with follow through, right? So I think 512 or $5 can be your support now, really. Iron. This was the only one that's getting rejected by the 100 still, but still on the weekly chart, it's just halfway in between. Lots of momentum still to go. Bitfarms, it's still getting rejected by that level there, 215. The 50-day moving average, 231. I think that'll be next. To challenge daily chart, it's already flipping the 50-day moving average as a support. It wants to go higher. BTBT. This one got rejected by the 50. So this is probably the weakest one now. But it had a great, fantastic week last week, up 30%, right? So it just broke out, hit resistance, and it was clear its resistance. So just give it some time to cool off. But I think it still can break this 50% level. Wolf, it just won't stop, right? It even closed the daily candle.
Won't stop, can't stop.
It even closed a daily candle above this. This high was 651. The day closed at 653. So it made a higher high from here. bullish, right? So I think it's going to go to. I think it's going to 712 next. I really do. And too bad I sold it, huh? But anyways, Hut, yeah, it broke above the arc and it wants to go higher. Core Z, fantastic day. It just had another move higher, and I had that black line drawn there simply because it was the previous high back in September, and it exploded higher, making a higher than all-time high daily candle close. BitDeer, it's battling important level, but I think it can go above, and that 100 week as well. I think it can get above. SMLR, it has room to go to the arc, $29. So there we go. Whew.
Well, wow, I think we left out a few. No, I'm just kidding. I think
that's fantastic.
But there you go. The miners look fantastic. A lot of them are breaking levels. A lot of them are continuously retesting support. And that is a bullish sign, regardless of anything, which is also bullish for this guy right here, Bitcoin, in the future, I think. So basically, whether or not the miners continue to break out this week or not, it looks like as long as they continue to hold support, they are going to go higher. So I'm bullish on the miners.
And that's the end of our show. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. So my voice is for TV and radio.
Yeah, you got a great. I've always told you, you got a great voice.
It's Kermit the Frog here.
You don't sound like that when you're doing charts.
Why? Well,
what if I talk like this? So next on the list, we got some Core Z.
Ooh.
It's like Kermit doing Sylvester Stallone from Rocky.
Or I got Cat's favorite right here. Well, right there. Next, we got the wolf right there.
All right, Boomhauer, okay.
That is my favorite. I'm sorry.
That's a good one.
Guilty pleasure kind of thing. That's my favorite. That did it for me right there. No.
Now your life is complete.
It's them Duke boys. Cute.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is I think if you look at the miners, and I'm just going to show my screen here real quick because there's no better way to do this. The top right here is the WGMI monthly chart. The bottom over here is the IWM Russell 2000 chart. They really are not that different. I mean, they're like the same chart. So as far as I'm concerned, I still think that the miners are not necessarily as much of a leverage play for Bitcoin, but I think they might be more of a leverage play for small caps. So I just think that they kind of run together. Individual ones, like some of them are going to outperform, some are going to underperform, and some are going to have different fundamentals, some are going to have different narratives, whatever, but like overall the whole sector, it just looks like it wants to model after IWM. And whenever IWM mixes all-time high again, which is going to be wherever it closes above 244.46, then I think that we're going to have a lot of fun. So,
I want to mention also IONQ. They're working on quantum computing. I mentioned that to you guys last weekend, and we talked about it in shows in the past before that. When there actually are quantum computers operating and people running out time on them, it's going to change things. It's going to be a big paradigm shift. So that stock is, running. It's sort of like the AI boom we had February of 2023. I think we're going to see a nice. Every time you see quantum computing, just buy that stock.
Yeah, I can pull up my screen again for that one real quick. I mean, you don't even need any indicators. You just have to look at the volume.
Click the wrong button. Don't mind me.
Ooh, I'm glad that you didn't show anything else. I mean, you show some pretty grotesque pictures of like cats and stuff on Subway. So anyway.
Well, you were talking about your
metrosexual.
I was suggestive. I'm always suggestive, but you're illustrative, Matt.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So this is the entire downtrend for the last year and a half on declining volume. Suspicious, right? After you've gone up on big volume, you have downtrend on declining volume. And now what happens now? You have volume coming back for the monthly chart of IONQ. So if you look at the 20-month moving average, you have really flipped this from resistance to now to support. It probably has enough room to go up to like $18 before hitting any serious resistance. So that's all I gotta say. That was fast.
I've got 1959. I think it's going to go to this 50% retrace.
It could go up higher, like kind of like it did over here. It had like a little bit of a wick outside the upper Bollinger Band, but I think like candle might end up closing like kind of inside there a little bit on the monthly. I can see that.
I've been having a lot of fun, looking for falling knives that are like now skipping stones across the water. And Matt, if you could indulge me with my screen real quick. Matt's the master control operator here. So here's IONQ, and it's on a linear scale. And I just looked back at the all-time high that ever hit back here was the 3590, and it basically bottomed out here. So I did a 100%, I did a retrace. This is just going from 327 back to the 3590, and it's already done 50%, and then it went lower, and now I think it's going to retest that 50% back to 382, and then I was like thinking it would just go to the 76.4, but I think it's just going to go the distance. Maybe it'll do some support testing down here. I think it might go the distance and just go back for this all-time high. So, from where it is now, when was this? Was this 20? No, this was before 2023. Back in 2022. Yeah. Oh, I've already got the arrow drawn. 128% from where price is right. No, actually, I got to move it down. Oh, because I usually draw this to where the B wave is, but from right where it is right now, it'd be 137%, 136% higher. So yeah, just buy IONQ. It might test back to the top of this weekly cloud. This is a weekly chart, but it probably might just go right up to this 382, get over it, and test back to it around 1573. So watch for it to go above, test back below. Don't worry. I think it's going to go to this 1959 and retest this zone again real soon. IONQ, and anytime you just see something that's, in fact, I'm going to have to after the show, I'm just going to go on and ask Grok what are all the companies doing quantum computing right now, and see which tickers are publicly traded, because I think this will be the next wave after what we get with the small caps now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these smaller cap companies that held great narratives and promise that got destroyed from 2020 to 2023 are starting to show a little bits of signs of life. Another one that I actually have a small position is like QuantumScape, that does like solid state battery. Their technical
That's a sticker.
Yeah, QS.
QS.
Yeah, that's another one that I have. Garcia Capital would say is going down to zero.
Somebody's asking at QuantumScape. See, look how long it's spent down here.
Exactly.
That's not a falling knife anymore. It was a falling knife, and now it's a stone skip. It's skipping across the water, and I think it's ready to come back up soon.
Yeah, do me a favor, Tracker. Look at the monthly, and then check the volume.
Right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pull up this thing. This is how I used to always look at stuff.
Not the volume shelf, but yeah, there you go. Yeah. Like, so zoom in, look at the last 4 candles, and tell me what you see.
Falling price, falling volume.
Yeah, and then look a little bit closer if you can actually look and see whether or not the green candle engulfs the next 3. What do you got there? You got a rising 3 method building up, right?
Oh yeah, look at that. 1, 2, 3. Kaboom. Yeah. And what I like is my monitor just clicked out of me for a second. 1 second. Yeah. But you can see on the monthly on the monthly chart, the moving average 50 is just showing up.
Yeah.
I just have to put my monitor back.
Yeah.
And look where it is. Woo, it's way up here.
Yeah.
The moving average 50 for the first time, This is like 48 periods, 49 periods, boom, 50 periods. Finally we have a 50 moving average.
Yeah. So I think this thing may not be ready to like run up that high, but it might pop to like I'm not even going to speculate, but I think it will pop. Like, I would not be surprised if it has like a 30 to 50% move, maybe sometime by the end of the year. So, but anyway,
I've been having a lot of fun pulling these retracements and just instead of doing looking for the low, the higher high, and the higher low, and doing 5 waves up and 5 waves up, I'm just doing retraces, and let me tell you, they look pretty good. Where are you? No, wait, you're probably right there. 382, 618 is the magic number. Look where that 618 comes, right back to the body of this candle right here. So yeah, I'm gonna buy this tomorrow. It's so cheap. Like
ooh,
$5.
I got you interested. Okay, yeah.
I am $5,
Yeah.
and it could go to 80. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean it's not deterministic, but it's a decent setup.
No, it's a fantastic risk reward for
Yeah,
a 15 bagger, 1,500% gain potential.
yeah. I mean, granted, I think when it was trading in the triple digits, the valuation was probably just like absolutely insane because it was just like research, But anyway,
Even from where it is now, just to the 50 moving average, that's 226%, 227%.
yeah, if it pops to double digits, anyway, I just like that's one that I'm kind of looking at. That's all.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. You like falling knives? I mean, this is not a falling knife anymore, but yeah.
This was a falling knife. This was
Yeah.
terrible, and then now it's a stone skipping across the water,
Yep.
and ready to emerge as a beautiful bird.
Yeah. Just like the cone between Matt Speed's legs, it's getting ready to emerge as a beautiful bird and attack. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Thanks, guys. It was a fun show. Always enjoy talking to you all. I wish Heidi was still here so she can be jealous.
Oh, somebody did say coin, though, I guess.
Oh, you want to talk about coin real quick? It's bullish. Bye.
It's bullish. Oh, and somebody asked for a GAN of IONQ. I got one. So here it is. I cut you off. You lose. You snooze, you lose, tracker.
Fine.
But yeah, here's IONQ. It's breaking out. It's breaking above an arc. Broke above the 45. It's breaking. And it wants to go maybe back to the orange level, which is at 1978 sooner or
Sounds
later.
familiar. Like I just said 1950 something a minute ago.
Nobody really listens, though. No.
Well, yeah. I said that. No, I'm just kidding.
But it is approaching an important fib here, the 702, which was a resistance in the past. So it's got to break above 1491, then 1655 to get to that level. So we're going to really keep an eye on that 1491, see if that holds as support. If it does, it's going to go higher.
Yeah.
All right, coin. So coin bullish. Yeah, I love it. End of story. Next.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I mean, that's it. End of show. No, I mean, like I'm probably gonna make a video about it tomorrow, but like it's pretty good.
Yeah, all you need is what I'm really paying attention to. My thoughts are basically the baseline there, 209. It's holding well, and it looks like it wants to stay above the cloud. And guess what? If it wants to stay above the cloud, if it goes back up to maybe 215 by the end of the week, then it's going to open a new candle on top of the cloud and on top of that arc right there, and it's going to go higher. So my next target is going to be 245. So I love coin. I think it's going higher.
Yeah, it looks bullish to me from across all time frame, like daily, weekly, 2 week, monthly, 2 month, 3 months. Like it just looks bullish on the Ichimoku. I don't have anything else to say about it. I mean, it's bullish. In terms of how high is it going to go, Matt? Is it going to go to 100,000 or?
Well, let's see here. The minimum I think is 1,400. Here. I think, or 12 to 1,400. The maximum is probably going to be right here to 18,000. So we'll see if that comes.
Right. Okay.
Not quite 1 million. God, be realistic. Anyways, but I think 1,400, 1,200 is going to be this cycle for sure. Once the altcoins start moving, like the majority of them, this Coinbase stock is just going to fly. It's going to go so high. What price to buy it at? Kim appreciates life. Well, this 618 fib, that 158 was the perfect price to buy it at. But if you missed that, then I think anywhere around the baseline, maybe 209, a wick below down to 205 would be beautiful. That's what I'm hoping for, because I already did some buying down here, so I'm kind of waiting to maybe back test a little bit more, see if Bitcoin goes down a little bit more, and then if it gets to 205, I'll buy. But I'm not sure if it's just going to hold this 209 yet. We'll find out. But I think it has a great opportunity to blast up higher in the near future.
I mean, I built my position yesterday and today. If it goes lower, I'll try to buy more. I mean, it's not like this is a bullish chart. I don't know how else to talk about it. Yeah.
And also,
I just say if there's coins and stuff you want to get to, miners you want to get into, just keep a list right by your desk and watch Bitcoin, and or start putting your limit orders. And as soon as Bitcoin starts to dip a little bit, that's when you should start buying whatever other concern you wanted, miners and altcoins and stuff.
Yeah. And another reason why I say 205 is because of this 20 week moving average. It was a bullish engulfing across it. So a backtest of this 204 would be amazing, I think. And I think the more weekly candles that close above it, it's going to start sloping upwards again. And then it's going to be pretty exciting when that happens. But I think a backtest would be amazing at this point. So that's what I'm hoping for to add more.
Yeah, it's just had a hard time breaking above the 0.786 because it spanned the entire 8 months back in 2021 around that level. So there's a lot of price history back then. But you really got rejected, and it came back to the 0.618, got really good support there, confluence with your angle. And I think this is it. I don't know what else. I don't know what else people want. This is it. Anyway, that's kind of it could go down lower. I could be wrong, but market structure wise, I think it looks like we did what we had to do based on FIB levels back test, and it looks like we found really strong support at 0.618. So if it pushes through the 0.786, then we're going a lot higher. That's
And 197 would be a gift too. That 702, because that is a support zone as well. But I don't know if they'll let it go that low. We'll see.
Yeah, if they can, great. I'll try to buy more. I mean, I'll just be down 5%. I don't care.
It's all temporary.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Yeah,
it's
I'll
time,
load up more
folks.
on Coinel.
It's time to buy in.
Yeah.
Coinbase to the moon.
Yeah.
More.
That's a quick request for TMDX. You want to do that real quick and then just call it a day?
TMDX. I think I already did this one on the morning. We did it on the morning show, didn't we?
All right, let's watch the morning show then.
No, just real quick. It lost support. So from this high to the low, right here, high to the low, this one, the recent high and low, that 1.272, I was watching it, 131, and it closed the week below it last week, and that's not bullish. So therefore, what I can really see is, since this 39% monster candle, it could even backtest this arc, which is 105. People don't like to hear that, but that is a possibility. But before that is the 50-week moving average at 114, which will stop it. But I still think price will go lower, and at least get here, at most get to this zone here. So I think 114 is in the cards, because this lost this 1.272, 131 support.
Yeah, if it starts to decelerate its drop, then that'll give that moving average time for it to come up a little higher, and then for the two to meet.
Yeah.
If you throw up my chart, my screen map, I actually did a chart for Transmedics for my subscribers here.
Transmedics, not transgenics.
Yeah, that's right. Transmedics. So I've set up a buy zone. Earlier I had my buy zone was right about, it was pretty tight right here, and then of course it went through that. So yeah, I've lowered my wave 4 down to here. Not quite, just because this kind of wicked up. I guess none of these candle bodies closed above the 618 back here. But usually when this, and then you can see it jumped up and then went to 1.5%, 1.150% fib. And then usually there should be a fib's distance between the bottom of this, or the top of this candle, and the bottom of wherever it hits here. So I thought that the 126 was going to hold, but yeah, I just say don't be afraid to DCA into this. It's a pretty big range now from 126 to 108.40. It's at 122 now, so start buying. I've got a whole bunch of buy orders stacked, limit good to cancel limit orders all the way down through to right to the edge of 109 here. So I think it's going to turn back up again and get this wave 5 high to 215.68 is my target for this. So if the lower it gets, the better the return. But that's still about, anywhere between a 97% and well, if you bought it right now, a 74% return. So, and it could extend higher to this $236 range. So I still like Transmedics. It lost this because it's a wave 4, and also it might. This wave 2 was pretty short, so the law of alternation with Elliott wave theory says the wave 4 will be longer. So it won't be a fun hold. It might just hang out here for a while. Again, just giving the moving averages time to catch up to it, to create support for it to go higher again. So you don't have to be a hurry to rush in and buy this. I think you'll have plenty of time for it to do some support discovery down here. That's my TMDX TA. Yeah. Well, that was it. That was great. It was it's 9:32. We had a nice 2-hour show here. Take us out, Kat and Matt.
It's been real. It's been fun.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, Matt and I will be back in the morning. We're doing a regular show now. It's the Matt and Tracker show. We do it.
Matt's me.
Let's see who's got the sexiest voice, man. Is it you? Is it me? Or is it Tracker?
Well, what I really want to tell you guys is that tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern, Tracker and Matt.
You don't realize we sound so much like Clint Eastwood right now.
We have a morning show, and it's so hot.
You do. I feel like I'm
super
just
hot.
watching from afar, and when I'm watching from afar, it just feels like I want to be there, but I'm there at the same time.
Well,
Get a room, guys.
you can join. You can join anytime you want, and I can send you the link because it's more fun in a 3-way.
Sometimes I feel like you tease me about the link, but I never really see it. Anyway, so for everybody,
click on a Matt link.
we're gonna continue this conversation on Matt's Telegram. He's got a Telegram group that we're gonna keep talking dirty over there. So if you guys want to join, go to his website, go to his X profile, and find out how.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you want to
come
see
on.
all my charts, I've got a cool spreadsheet. I had a spreadsheet first. Matt's got a spreadsheet now, but I had one first. I just want to go on the record.
Well, does yours update the prices automatically?
Yes, absolutely. I use Google Finance for it.
Oh, you use like an API?
Yep. So it's just Google Sheets. It's pretty much already built in. You can use it as a function of the sheet. But yeah, for only $2 a month, you can see all the charts that I draw. I'm keeping a big catalog of them, and they're all sorted by so it's like an action list. The stocks that you want to act upon filter towards the top of the spreadsheet. You don't have to go searching. If you're looking for something to buy brand new, go to the bottom of the spreadsheet where there's like thousands and thousands of potential percentage gains down there in those tickers. But at the top of the chart are the ones where it's like, oh, it's almost time to buy, or oh, it's almost time to sell. It's pretty cool. So, and you can get that just by going to my webpage and on X and hitting the subscribe button.
You
So
feel like
cheap. I made it cheap on purpose. Everyone could follow me.
Anyone, if you want thousands of percentage of gains,
Anyone can follow gains.
Anyone.
Thousands and thousands.
Thousands.
Billions and billions.
It's been real.
Yeah.
Matsby's
got a great. He's got a Patreon too. That links you into his Telegram.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it. And he's redoing his whole education course on how to do the Gantt charts. And his first one was fantastic. I can't wait to see what the 2.0 version looks like.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to get back to Telegram right now with you guys. So let's do it. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Okay, guys. All right.
Right.
Bye bye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really